I'm from Clarecastle, bred, born and reared there in the Key Road in Clarecastle, and worked in Rosh for many years, and took early retirement out of Rosh 5 years ago, and purchased my home house in the Key Road in Clarecastle off the family, and 4 years ago refurbished it with the view of doing Airbnb. This house was never intended for the long-term rental market. We all understand there's a problem with housing in the country, but I'm not the answer to that problem, or the short-term lets. So I'm doing it now for 4 years. It's a 3-bedroomed house, and it's at about 85% occupancy. I keep 6 to 8 weeks a year for family. I have a daughter in Edinburgh, and I have a sister who grew up in the house in England, and they come for a couple of weeks every year.
So you could have full occupancy, but you decide to keep it for those few weeks.
Yes, I could have full occupancy, but I keep it for family as well. That's part of the reason why it was never going into the long-term rental market.
And when you say it was never intended for that, would it be fair to say that it could be used as that, but you decided you wanted to do Airbnb for your own personal reasons?
Yes, it could be used for the long-term market. It's not being used for it because of, that's one of the reasons, is my family, some of my family is away, and also local Clarecastle people come for weddings and stuff, and they also use it.
There's a demand for it.
There's a demand for it, yes. It supplements my small pension. I retired young enough, not retirement age yet, and supplements my small pension, and that was the main reason for it. My wife and myself run it, and it's mostly Americans, French, English, with about 10% of my market being Irish. Huge boost to local tourism. Taxis, local taxis near Shannon Airport, taxis up and down Shannon Airport, shops, cafes, pubs. There's a spend. This has been done by Airbnb, a survey that each person will spend on average about €75 a day. I have about 1,000 bed nights a year, and you can do the figures yourself. It's 1,000 by the...
Big knock-on economic impact from it.
Big knock-on economic impact. The reason I'm on here today is that there's new legislation coming in for the short-term lettings, that you register with Falch Ireland and Airbnb, which I am registered with. I have absolutely no problem registering with Falch Ireland. The house is... it's wheelchair accessible. It's health and safety. It was built especially for Airbnb. Don't have a problem with that. We have to apply for change of use planning. I don't have a problem with that.
And just on that, before we get on to that, that rule that is the bone of contention here, you mentioned that there is a housing crisis and you're not the solution to it. There has been a clampdown on Airbnbs in the last number of years, beginning with the introduction of this register. Would you acknowledge the importance of clamping down, given the strain on the long-term rental market? Do you support those efforts, broadly speaking?
Broadly speaking, yes, we do understand that there is a housing crisis. I can speak in general about Airbnbs. There's a high percentage of them not suitable at all for long-term rental. So they're not, they're nearest. I'm in an area, we have a population of 3,500 in Clarecastle. There's no small hotel. I think there is 6 Airbnbs within Clarecastle. We are serving a market. It's not a local market. It's a international market where we're getting foreign people in for short stays who will not come if these beds are not there. And if these beds aren't there, you see the loss in revenue. That is a market that is there. It's separate to the housing crisis. I mean, we all know the answer to the housing crisis, build more houses, but on the short term, like I think the government are trying to get a quick fix on this, saying that short-term lettings are going to sort the problem. I estimate, only my estimation, that it wouldn't sort maybe 1 to 2% of the housing problem if the Airbnbs came back into the long-term rental market.
And although we did see a stat recently that 69% of Clare's short-term lets are whole homes, so there is a good proportion there of short-term lets in Clare that are whole homes and could make a difference. But we're not here today to debate that. Liam, we heard in February that there would be a change to the rules around short-term lets, whereby properties in towns or villages of 20,000 or more in population would have to apply for planning permission. Sounds like a good idea on paper, because we're talking about bigger towns, we're thinking about Ennis, we're thinking about larger urban centres where there is a greater strain on housing. But you have a very particular issue with this new rule.
I have a particular issue with the rule. Clarecastle has always had a separate identity. We were never part of the town of Ennis. We never had an urban council. We never had a town council. We were just our own identity, our own GA club, our own post office, our own everything. We were a village. We're a village in ourselves. And now, even outside the Airbnb, we're being told we're going to lose our identity. That all of a sudden, as part of the 2022 census, we are put in with Ennis and parts of Bearfield. And what it looks like to me, the reason for this is that it's for greater grants for Ennis. It brings them over a 25,000 threshold, and it gives them greater grants for works within the town. That's fine, works within the town, but I've yet to see since 2022, if this is the case, that none of this money is being spent in the local area of Clarecastle. I can see it's spent in Ennis. There is great works done in Ennis, no complaints with that. But if it was the whole municipal district of Ennis, I could accept it. That would bring in parts of Ballyea, parts of Quinn, all of Bearfield, all of Clarecastle.
Particular areas, it's
particular area of the electoral area. But to single out Clarecastle.
And the road to Bearfield as well.
The road out to Bearfield, some of the road, most of the road out to Bearfield, the main road, is part of it. So, like, bringing in Clarecastle as part of Ennis is very harsh. Very harsh. It's putting me out of business, and there's, as I said, there's an identity problem with it as well. Yeah,
and just to bring this back to Airbnbs and to clarify for our listeners, what this means is that Clarecastle and, as we said, the road towards Bearfield, they're being coupled in with Ennis as one large urban centre with a population of, I think, roughly 35,000 altogether. That means that your Airbnb, even though it's not in Ennis, it's in Clarecastle, it has to apply now. You have to seek planning permission.
The situation there now, Sean, is that if you're under the population of 20,000, you apply for planning permission for change of use if you do not already have it, but you will be given 2 years to receive that planning permission. But my situation, being told Clarecastle is now part of Ennis, is that I don't get any chance to apply for any planning. I'm told I'm over the 20,000 and that I close my business. That's basically...
So you actually don't have a route around this? There isn't anything you can do or anything that you're being told to do?
There's nothing I can do at this moment in time. Only I have contacted Clare County Council. I have emailed them a couple of times with no response. I was requesting the population of Ennis, population of Clarecastle, and where does Clarecastle stand moving forward? Is it a separate identity to Ennis? And I've no reply got of yet.
And until you get a reply or until there's a change, can you take bookings?
I can take bookings until the legislation goes through. Whenever the legislation goes through, it was to go through on the 20th of May, but that has been put back because they want to put planning guidelines in place for all Airbnbs, but that will not apply to me because I'm told I've been the over 20,000 bracket.
So you're in a kind of a state of flux at the moment. You don't.
I'm in a state of flux. At the moment, I will be out of business as soon as the legislation is passed.
So what you'd like to see, Liam, put simply, is you'd like to see a separation there where Clarecastle is its own community as far as planning is concerned.
Yes, Clarecastle was always its own community. albeit we have expanded over the years. But Clarecastle always had its own separate identity to Ennis, and that's the way I would wish it to stay. This all happened. We knew, okay, it seems to have come in under the 2022 census. I've contacted the Central Statistics Office. They will tell me that Clarecastle is 3,400 approx is the population. But when I request a map, they will give me the map of Ennis and Clarecastle, saying Ennis is 27,000. So it seems to come in under the 2022 census. It seems to be brought in. Definitely people at Clarecastle were consulted as if they wanted to be part of the town of Ennis. So it's a huge problem for me, yes.
Yeah, and if that separation did take place, if they did say, okay, Clarecastle is its own community and these rules don't apply, you can seek planning permission and operate a short-term let there. Could there be a possibility, or would there be fears that Clarecastle could become almost like a haven for short-term lets, given its close proximity to Ennis, that you might end up with a disproportionate amount of short-term lets in Clarecastle? Would that be a risk at all?
Well, I really can't answer that, Sean. It's up to everybody to do what they wish with their own house, or a bed in a house. Like, that's a hard one to answer. Like, it's I couldn't see it go there. I don't know offhand how many long-term rentals are in Clarecastle, but I do know that there's only approx 6 Airbnbs in the village of Clarecastle.
It's not a huge market or a huge industry. You mentioned that you've engaged with Clare County Council and that you haven't got a response. Have you engaged with politicians locally, and what's your next move on this?
Yes, we have engaged with politicians, and they have been helpful. Carl Crowe, I'll have to say, has been very helpful. And he has brought it up on a number of occasions, to try and distinguish, is there a separation between Ennis and Clarecastle. All politicians, I emailed all politicians, and all politicians responded.